Okay, right, so because this is going to be a combined high-low pointer session, for each of the exercises I'll give a high pointer option and a low pointer option, so you can just pick whatever you want. Equipment-wise, I've got a pillow and a band, and that's all you should need. So to start with, we're just going to start with our nice gentle neck one, so I'm going to start lying sitting, and we're going to take our chin down towards our chest, and just lightly clasp your hands together at the back of your neck, just to give a little bit of a gentle extra stretch. Okay, back to the start, and then we're going to go back down once more. And then back to the start. So now we'll do some neck rotation. So we're going to go around to the right first. So take your right hand round behind you, left hand across your hip. You're going to twist your body to the right, and then turn your head to the left and put your chin on your shoulder. Use your hands to keep you sat nice and tall and try and push you round into as much rotation as you can. Okay, we'll go around to the left. So left hand behind you, right hand comes across, twist your body to the left, turn your head to the right and put your chin on your right shoulder. Then keep sat nice and tall. Use your hands to support you. Okay, back round to the right, left on the last one. So right hand behind you, left hand across, twist your body to the right, use your hands and then turn your head to the left. Put your chin on your left shoulder. And then once more to the left. So left hand round, right hand across, twist your body around to the left, turn your head to the right, and chin on your right shoulder. Okay, and then back to the start. So now we're going to do a seated twist with some more thoracic rotation. So it depends on how you want to do this one. So I'm going to do it as a high pointer, starting with my legs out in front of me, and then I'm going to take one leg across. So I'm going to get a nice hip stretch with some thoracic stretch. If you've got the ability to cross your leg over, do that. If you haven't, you might just want to lie your leg down across, or just keep your legs straight, or stay with them sat folded, whichever you want to do. But so I'm going to take my left leg across, pull my thigh into my body as much as I can so I can feel the stretch down through my left. And then I'm going to use my left hand to try and drive me around towards the left hand side and turn my body in towards my thigh. Try and turn your head in the direction you want your body to twist. So for me, I'm doing left side, so I'm going to try and turn my head around towards the left, and it might just give me a little bit more thoracic rotation as well. Okay, swap sides. Again, if you're crossing your legs over, take your right leg across, pull it into your body as much as you can, and then use your right hand behind you to give yourself some rotation around to the right as you pull your thigh in towards your body. Again, use your head to follow around in the direction that you're trying to twist, and that will give you a little bit more thoracic, but it'll also give you a bit more hip as well. Okay, once more back onto the left. So left leg across, pull it in towards you. Use your left hand to drive you around to the left. Pull your knee or your thigh into your body. And on this one, I want you to take some nice deep breaths, and every time you breathe out, just try and rotate that a little bit further and pull the thigh in closer towards you as you do so. Okay, and then last one on the right hand side. So right leg across, pull it into your body again. Use your right hand to drive you round, and same thing. So big deep breaths. As you breathe out, try and rotate and pull that thigh in a little bit closer each time. Okay, and you can let go of that position. Okay, so here's now where you're going to want to grab hold of your band or a towel, whatever you've got available to you. Just sat with legs crossed or legs in front, wherever you're most comfortable. And we're going to use the band or the towel to give some shoulder mobilisation into internal, external rotation. So take hold of the band in your right hand, and then let the band kind of fall down behind you. So put it over your head behind you. And then you're going to take hold of the band with your left hand at the bottom. And you're going to try and get your hands as close together as you can on that band. And then what I want you to do there is take the elbow that's at the top and point it straight up towards the ceiling, so you maximise that stretch around the shoulder into your lats and your triceps. And then from that position there, we're just going to pull from either end and hold for a few seconds. So with your left hand, just pull down, and you'll feel an increased stretch through your lats and your triceps. Keep that arm pointing towards the ceiling. Just going to hold that for a few seconds. And now you're going to pull with your right hand so that you can now feel the stretch through your left shoulder. Again, keeping your hands as close together as you can tolerate. It'll be different for everybody. And if you can, try and keep that elbow pointing right up towards the ceiling to keep that stretch of the top shoulder. Okay, we're going to pull back down again with the left. So again, you're back into feeling the stretch through your lats and your triceps in your right arm. Keep that elbow pointed towards the ceiling. It's a nice one to open up your chest and open up your shoulders. Okay, then you're going to pull again with the right hand. So again, you can feel the stretch on that left shoulder. Hold that for a few seconds. Keep that elbow pointing towards the ceiling. And you're only going to pull as far as you feel you can tolerate. So don't pull any further than is necessary. You want to feel a bit of a stretch, but you don't want to be in discomfort. Okay, last one on each side. So we're going to pull down with the left. Again, really open up that lat, open up that tricep, put the elbow to the ceiling. Hold that for a few seconds. And then last one, so pull with the right arm and pull that left hand as far as is tolerable up to meet the right hand. Okay, and then relax with that side, and then we're just going to swap hands with the band. So your left hand's now going to take the band, put it over your head so the band's now behind you again, and then take the bottom of the band with your right hand. And again, you might be slightly different ability-wise, left to right, but you're going to try and get those hands as close as you personally can together towards the band. And we're going to do the same thing here. So keep that elbow pointing towards the ceiling as much as you can. And we're just going to start with a pull with the right hand. So you're going to pull down with the right hand and feel a nice stretch through the left triceps and the left lats. Hold that for a few seconds. Okay, then a gentle pull. So pull with the top hand, with the left hand. Again, just as much as is tolerable for you. We're just going to hold that for a few seconds. Okay, pull down again. Pull down with that right arm. Keep that left elbow high towards the ceiling as you can do. Okay, pull up again with the left so you can feel that in the right shoulder. Again, just pull as far as is comfortable for you. Try and stay as upright as you can. If you need to be propped up against something, then that's absolutely fine. And then last one, so last pull down with that right hand. Keep that left elbow pointing towards the ceiling. Good. Okay, you can now discard your band. Okay, so what we're going to do this time, we're going to do sad cat, happy cat, which is a nice thoracic mobiliser. So we've got two options for this one. Low pointers, you're going to do it in sitting. So I'm going to turn on my side. You're going to straighten one leg, and you're going to take the other knee, and you're going to clasp your hands around your shin. And to extend up into extension, you're going to lightly pull through your hand, and you're just going to lift your chest up as high as you can. Draw your shoulders back and try and get some nice thoracic extension. And then to go to flexion, you're going to go in the opposite direction. So you're going to round your back, but holding onto your thigh so you keep that mobility where you can. Now, for mid-high pointers, your option here for this one is to go onto all fours. Hands directly under your shoulders, knees directly under your hips. And you're going to push through your hands, be really active, so push the floor away and push your shoulders and your thoracic spine as high up toward the ceiling as you can. And then the reverse of that is that you're going to tuck your bottom under, look up towards the ceiling, and try and extend through your thoracic. So that's the high pointer option. The low pointer option is sitting. So I'm going to do the low pointer option, and we'll just do a couple on each side. So we're going to pull up into extension first. So we're going to extend through our thoracic spines. Pull up towards you, that chest pose, roll them shoulders back, get some nice activity at the back of the shoulders, some thoracic extension. And then we're going to sink back down into flexion, so round those back. So high pointers, you're going to tuck under, push the floor away. Feel a nice stretch around that thoracic spine and the shoulders. Hold that for a few seconds, feel that stretch. Okay, and then we're going to go up into extension again. So low pointers, light pull on your hands, be active in your thoracic spine. High pointers, you're going to tuck under and get some nice extension through your back and a nice arch. Okay, good. Back into flexion, so sink into that. So high pointers, push that floor away, push as high as you can. Low pointers here, use that thigh to stabilise as much as you can. Feel a nice stretch through that thoracic spine. Okay, two more. So pull back up into extension, so be active through the upper part of your back if you can. Light touch on your hands, let your head drive the movement, so following the direction that you're going. Try and open out through your chest, extend through your thoracic spine as much as you can. Open that out as much as possible. And then last one into flexion, so we're going to sink back down, feel the stretch across the middle of our upper back. Some nice lumbar flexion with this too, which is quite nice. Hold that position for a few seconds. And then we're going to come back into sitting. So our next option, now we've mobilised our thoracic spine into flexion extension, we're going to look to do some rotation. So again, we've got two different options for high-low pointers. So low pointers, you're going to do a chest opener. So you're going to lie down on your side, palms touching each other, And you're going to open out as wide as possible. Hold that for a few seconds and then come back. So that's the low pointed option. The high pointed option is going to be a thread the needle. So again, you're on all fours, similar to the last one. Back of the hand touches the floor. And you're going to slide the hand under and rotate as far as you can, aiming to get your shoulder on the floor. So give a nice rotation there, keep the hips high. Hold for a few seconds and then you're going to open out in the opposite direction towards the ceiling. So we're going to do 5 on each side. So low point is 5, lying on your side in one direction and 5 on the other. And the same for the high pointers in thread the needle. Okay, so when we're ready, so we're going to go 5 in one direction. So feed that hand under, take that arm across if you're following the low pointer option. And then we're going to open out. Try and time your breathing with this one because that will help you get a bit of extra range. Okay, into the second one. So slide back under, low pointers open out, really follow that arm round. High pointers really try and get that shoulder to the floor. And then open back out again. Okay, for the third one, so slide back under. Open out if you're on the low pointer option. Low pointers, try and aim those hands to the floor if you can. And just take it as far as it's tolerable. High pointers, try and get that shoulder to the floor. And then we're going to open out again. Okay, into number 4. Low pointers open out. High pointers, slide that hand through as far as you can. Hopefully you can feel on each one of these that you get a little bit further each time. And then open out. Follow that hand. High pointers, try and keep the hips facing forwards if you can. Localise that to thoracic as much as possible. And then back down into the 5th one on this side. And then open out and then we'll swap sides. Okay, good. So swap sides. I'm going to do the low pointer option for this side. So lying on my side, high pointers, you're just going to swap hands. Okay, so when we've swapped sides, low pointers when we've turned over. Okay, so you're going to start with your palms on top of each other again. Slide that hand away and then open out as far as you can. Aiming to get that hand to the floor. High pointers, trying to get that shoulder to the floor and really feel that stretch into rotation. And then we're going to come back. Okay, to our second one, so low pointers, slide that hand forward, rotating towards the floor, and then open out as wide as you can. Follow that hand around, use your head, follow your head, follow the movement with your head. And then back again. And then for the third option, so slide your hand forward, open out into the floor as far as you can. Open out as much as possible and take your head with you so your head guides that movement. Keep your hips facing forward if you're able to. And open out that chest as much as you can. And then back again. Okay, 2 more for this last exercise. Okay, slide that hand forward and we're going to open out again. And then come back, and we have one more to finish this exercise. So last one, nice big rotation, big open out. High pointers, really feed that arm under. And then come back to the start. Okay, good. So this next one is against another nice shoulder opener, and there are two options. What we're going to try and do is look at opening out our shoulders, keeping our elbows out. It's a nice lat mobiliser, and it's a nice shoulder opening as well. So the first option, if people want to, it's a bit more challenging. It's done in sitting, but you do need a flat wall against you. I don't have that, so I'm going to do the one on the floor as an option instead. But if you're going to do it in sitting, flat back against whatever's behind you, sit with elbows in this position and keep your elbows touching the wall. And then you're going to try and slide your hands as high as possible, but without letting your elbows come off the wall. Only go as far as you can, and then you're going to come back down. And the second option for lower pointers is we're going to do that on the floor. So if you're not the most flexible, the floor might also be an easier option. So you're going to have a lie down onto your back, pillow under your head if you want to support your head, but lie down flat, and you're going to open out your hands so your shoulders are at a right angle to your body, and the backs of your hands are touching the floor. And you're going to do the same thing as we just talked about, but in a lying down position. So what you're going to do here is, you've got the activity, especially for mid-high pointers, flatten your lower back into the floor. So already by doing that, you'll give yourself more preference into thoracic spine, which is what we want. If you haven't got the ability to do that, don't worry. And if you need to have your legs flat on the floor, then that's absolutely fine. So in this position here, we're going to keep our elbows to the floor as our contact reference point. And what you're going to do there is you're going to start to slide your hands up over your head as high as you can, but you're not to let those elbows come off the floor. So as soon as you start to feel those elbows lift, that's where you need to stop and hold that position. Now you might be slightly different right to left, and that's absolutely fine. But this is a nice one to open out the chest. It gives some nice thoracic extension because we're either in upright or lying flat, but it's also a nice shoulder one too. So hold that end position, and then we're going to slide back down. And we're going to do 8 of those. Okay, into number 2. So slide those hands up as high as you can. Be really strict with those elbows. See if you can get to the same position or further than the last one. Again, use your elbows as your reference point. If you can get straight overhead, then that's great. If you can't, then just go as far as you can. And when you get to that end range position, wherever that might be for you, just take some nice big deep breaths and try and open out that chest as much as you can. Okay, come back down, and we'll go into the third one. Okay, so back overhead for that third one. So slide those hands either up the wall or on the floor into an overhead position, stopping when you feel those elbows come off the floor. Now you might find that as you do this, you get a little bit further each time. Again, high pointers or those that have got the activity, keep your lower back grounded into the floor or against the wall. If you arch through your back, you can find that you'll cheat and you'll get a lot more range, but then we're losing the specificity of that exercise. Okay, slide back down, and we'll go into number 4. Okay, back up and overhead for the fourth one. Again, keep those elbows down. Stop when you feel those elbows start to lift. Really push them into the floor, keep them down. Open out that chest and thoracic as much as you can. And again, big deep breaths into that end point, wherever that might be. Okay, and then back down again. Okay, same thing for number 5. So slide those hands up as much as you can. Don't let those elbows come off the wall or the floor, whatever position you're in. Hold that end point, ground those elbows down into the floor. And take some big deep breaths. Okay, back down. Okay, 3 more. So into number 6, so slide those hands up again. Stop at that end point. Try and be as relaxed as you can. Try and let things go. Try not to hold on to those shoulders if you can. Big deep breaths again in this position. Okay, we have 2 more. So slide back down. Okay, into number 7. Slide those hands back overhead. Hopefully you're a little smidge higher than where you first started. A few big deep breaths again, then we'll do the last one. Okay, slide back down. And into the last one. As high as you can. Again, a really nice one, this, especially when you've been sat down potentially for a bit longer than you would do normally. Opens out that thoracic spine, opens out that chest. Big deep breaths for the last one. Okay, and back down. Okay, so our next one, stay lying flat on your back because we're going to stay in this position. What I want you to do from there is we're going to pull our knees into our chest. So take the knees, pull them into your chest, and if you want to bring your head off the floor to give a nice stretch, pull those knees in as high as you can and really feel a stretch through your hips and your lower back. Keep that position for a few seconds, and then what we're going to do from here is we're going to roll it over onto our side to give us a nice lumbar stretch and open up the chest on that side as well. So I'm going to take my legs down towards the right hand side, holding onto my left thigh with my right hand, and then I'm going to open out with my left hand out behind me. So I've now got a nice lumbar thoracic stretch and also a pec stretch on that left hand side. Now if you're super flexible or you want to make this more challenging, straighten your bottom leg. So you've now got your bottom leg straight, which gives an extra rotational element, and it'll open up your chest even more as well. Try and keep that arm out at the right angle to your body, so try not to bring it down towards your hip because you'll lose that stretch. Try and keep it out as open as you can with your palm facing upwards. Okay, so bring yourself back into the middle. We're going to go knees back into our tummy, into our chest. Hold that for a few seconds, and then we're going to go and do it on the opposite side. Okay, so this time I'm going to take my legs down to my left. I'm going to open out my arm behind me. And again, if you want to make that stronger, just straighten that bottom leg if you can. Try and keep the back of that hand on the floor behind you if you can. Just keep the weight through your thigh with your hand to give that nice lumbar stretch as well into rotation. Nice big deep breaths, open up that chest. Okay, good. So I'm just going to have a sit for a second. So we're now going to look to stretch out through our hip flexors. That's our next one. And again, we've got 2 different options depending on high and low pointers. So we'll start with low pointers. The low pointers for this one, you're going to put yourselves lying on your tummy into this position, and you're just going to pop your hands underneath you and kind of lift yourself up to give your hips a bit of a stretch in that position. And you can hold that up for a few seconds, rest back down for a few seconds, and then go again. So that's a nice hip opener for a low pointer. For the high pointers, we're going to do this in a lunge position. So we're going to come into a lunge position and face this way, it might be easier. Go to lunge position in this sense here. And high pointers, in this position here, so I've got my left leg in front of me and my right leg behind me. You need to tuck your bottom under as much as you can, because by doing that, you'll automatically give yourself a stretch through your right hip flexor. And then when you start to lunge forward, you don't need to lunge a huge amount more forwards to get that extra hip flexor stretch. And we're just going to hold that. So low points again, this is a nice one. So you can use this to get some nice active thoracic extension as well by drawing it when you lift your body up off the floor, lift your chest towards the ceiling, draw them shoulder blades back down. And it's a nice activation one as well in that position. Okay, high pointers, we're going to swap sides. So we're going to go and lunge into the opposite leg. So now I've got my right leg in front of me, my left leg behind me. And again, the first bit we need to do is we need to tuck that bottom under, so we're tilting our pelvis underneath us, and you'll feel the stretch then for your left hip flexor already. And then you're going to start to lunge forwards. And again, you shouldn't need to lunge too far if you've already tucked your pelvis underneath you. Hold that for a few seconds. Try and keep as upright as you can. If you need something to hold on to for balance, that's fine. There's also a nice activator for the glutes in this position as well. Okay, one more on each side for those high pointers, so swap legs. Low pointers, just keep alternating, drawing them shoulders back down, extending up through that thoracic spine. We've done that one before. Okay, high pointers, tuck that pelvis under again, feel that hip flexor stretch, and then just start to lunge forward until you feel that you can't go any further. You need to keep that pelvis tucked underneath you to keep that hip flexor dominance. Okay, last one on the opposite side for those high pointers. This is the last one before we move on to our last exercise. So tuck that bottom underneath you and then start to lunge forwards. Again, for those low pointers, to keep alternating between being nice and flat and pushing yourselves up. You feel super flexible. You can even push yourself up onto your hands with straight elbows. But just stretch as far as is comfortable for you. You don't force anything. Okay, so we'll go into our last exercise. We always finish with child's pose. The extra added little bit that I'm going to put on today, if you have the range to do so. If you don't, we're just going to do normal child's pose. But if you have the extra flexibility, we're going to put our hands on a pillow. So it just gives some extra shoulder elevation. So if you struggle with child's pose in terms of range, just stick to the floor. But to give a bit of an extra shoulder opening, I'm going to use the pillow today. Just base it on your own preference and what range you have. So again, in child's pose, we're going to sit back on our heels. Again, it's personal preference as to whether you like your legs to be close in together or slightly wider apart. It depends again on how flexible you are. And then we're going to walk our hands forward as far as we can. We're going to put them on that pillow if you've chosen that as an option. And you're going to pop your forehead down on the floor. So you should feel with this extra pillow that it gives you a bit of extra range. But I also want you to be really active in your hands in this position. So if we go lazy with our hands and we bend our elbows, we lose that shoulder stretch. So stay active in those hands. So the more you extend your fingers, the easier it will be to keep those elbows straight, and you'll get a much stronger shoulder opening in that position. And we're just going to finish here. So be trying to be really relaxed in this position. So forehead on the ground. Close your eyes if you want to add that element of relaxation. And this is also a nice one that you can also try with some headspace if that's something that you like to do in terms of meditation. Just close your eyes and feel like you can take some big deep breaths into those spaces. So breathe into that shoulder, open out into the back, so breathe into those positions and try and breathe down into the hips as well and feel like you're opening up those spaces as much as possible. And we're just going to hold this for a couple of minutes to finish. Okay, another 30 seconds in this position and then we'll start to walk our hands back out. Okay, start to walk your hands back in to finish in that position. And that's it, that's today's session, all finished.